Most men speak, but never leave a mark. They try hard, impress, chase, and still get ignored. Why? Because attraction isn't logical, it's psychological. If you know how to trigger the right emotions, she won't just like you, she'll crave you. These 7 tricks aren't games. They're ancient principles of presence, mystery, and control. Watch until the very end. The last one is what changes everything. There is a common belief, a strategy, that to attract another, one must cultivate an air of mystery. This is often misunderstood as a game of withholding information, of being intentionally vague, of creating a puzzle for someone else to solve. The intention behind this is to spark curiosity. But this approach, if it is a performance, is like a shallow pond with a murky surface. Once the curiosity is satisfied or the game becomes tiring, one finds there is nothing more beneath. The attraction, being built on a clever illusion, fades as quickly as it appeared. It is a structure with no foundation, and it will inevitably collapse. The energy required to maintain such a facade is immense, and it draws from a well of anxiety, not of peace. The true path is not to act mysterious, but to be a person of depth. This is not a trick, it is a way of life. Depth is not created by hiding parts of yourself, but by cultivating a rich inner world that is so vast it cannot be fully known in a single glance or a single conversation or even a lifetime. Think of a forest. You can see the trees at the edge, you can walk a little way in, but you are always aware that there are hidden glades, ancient trees, and secret streams you have not yet discovered. The forest is not trying to be mysterious. It simply is vast and complex. Its mystery is a natural result of its depth. How do we cultivate this inner forest? It begins with turning our attention inward. It is the practice of spending time with ourselves, not in distraction, but in quiet observation. It is reading books that challenge our perspective, learning a skill that requires patience and discipline, exploring philosophies that question the nature of our own existence. It is the courage to face our own shadows, to understand our fears and our wounds, not so we can hide them better, but so we can integrate them into a more complete and authentic self. When you have a rich inner life, you do not need to invent stories or withhold truths. Your presence itself becomes intriguing. Your conversations will naturally have more substance because you are drawing from a deep well of thought and experience. Your silence will be comfortable and profound, not awkward, because you are at peace with your own company. A person of depth does not need to be the loudest in the room. They are like a deep, still lake. Others are drawn to it not because it makes a lot of noise, but because they sense its coolness and its quiet, life-sustaining power. This is the quality that creates a lasting and genuine fascination. It is not a puzzle to be solved, but a beautiful landscape to be explored, a journey with no end. This is not a strategy, it is the result of true self-cultivation. Valued presence. In the world of modern dating, you may hear advice about creating scarcity. The idea is to make yourself less available, to reply to messages slowly, to be busy, to show that your time is limited. This is taught as a way to increase your perceived value. If something is rare, the logic goes, it must be precious. This is the thinking of a marketplace where value is determined by supply and demand, but a human connection is not a commodity. To treat it as such is to begin on a path of manipulation, not of genuine relating. While this tactic might create a short-term chase, it is rooted in anxiety. It is the fear that if you are simply available, you will be seen as having no value. This fear reveals a wound within the self. The practice should not be to perform scarcity, but to genuinely have a life that is so meaningful and fulfilling to you that your time and presence are naturally valuable. This is a critical distinction. It is the difference between pretending to be busy and actually being engaged in your purpose. When your life is full, not with meaningless distractions, but with activities that align with your core values, your presence becomes a gift. You are not withholding it to play a game. You are sharing it from a place of abundance when you are able to. A tree does not withhold its shade, but its shade is most valued when the sun is hot and one has been walking a long path. To cultivate this, you must first discover what gives your life meaning, separate from anyone else's validation. What is your practice? Is it your art, your craft, your physical discipline, your service to your community, your journey of learning? You must pour your energy into this. This is your anchor. When you have this anchor, you are not waiting by the phone for a message. You are not anxiously hoping for an invitation. You are deeply immersed in the act of living a life that is worthwhile to you. When you do choose to share your time with someone, it is a conscious and meaningful choice. It is not given away lightly because it is taken from the time you would otherwise be dedicating to your own growth and purpose. This creates an entirely different energy. It is not the anxious energy of scarcity, but the calm, grounded energy of a person with self-respect and a clear direction. The other person feels this. They feel that your presence is something special, not because you are playing hard to get, but because they can sense that your life is a moving vessel, and to be invited aboard for a time is a genuine privilege. You are not a harbor waiting for a ship to arrive. You are a ship on its own voyage, and you are inviting them to sail with you for a while. This is not about making them value you more. It is about you valuing your own life so deeply that your presence naturally becomes a cherished thing. Shared stillness. There is a technique often discussed called mirroring. This is the act of subtly copying another person's body language, their posture, their speech patterns. The psychological reasoning is that this creates a subconscious feeling of rapport and similarity. This person is like me, the mind thinks, so they must be safe and agreeable. And in a superficial sense, this can work. It can help to build comfort in a negotiation or a brief social encounter. But in the context of a deep and meaningful connection, mirroring as a conscious trick is like tracing a masterpiece. You may copy the lines perfectly, but you will never capture the soul, the intention, the life force that made the original work so breathtaking. This is because true connection is not about creating an illusion of sameness. It is about creating a space of shared presence where two distinct individuals can exist together in harmony. The deeper spiritual practice is not mirroring, but the cultivation of a shared stillness. It is the ability to be so present, so completely in the moment with another person, that your nervous systems begin to attune to each other naturally. This is not a conscious act of copying. It is an unconscious resonance that occurs when you empty yourself of your own inner noise, your anxieties, your agendas, your mental chatter, and truly listen, not just to their words, but to the silence between them, to the emotion in their eyes, to the energy they are putting into the space. To achieve this, one must first learn to be still within oneself. This is the purpose of meditation, of mindfulness. It is the practice of sitting with your own thoughts and feelings until they settle, like sediment in a glass of water, leaving only clarity. When you can find this stillness within yourself, you can then bring that quality of presence into your interactions with others. You are no longer desperately trying to think of the next clever thing to say. You are no longer analyzing their every move and trying to mirror it. You are simply there, open, receptive, and calm. This is an incredibly powerful and attractive state. In this space of shared stillness, true rapport is born. The other person feels profoundly seen and heard, not because you are mimicking their gestures, but because you are offering them the entirety of your undivided attention. This is the rarest of gifts in our distracted world. They will feel safe to be their most authentic self because your own stillness creates a non-judgmental container for their being. They will feel a connection that goes far beyond words or appearances. They will not think, this person is like me. They will feel, with this person, I can finally be me. This is the difference between a clever echo and the harmony of two separate notes played in perfect accord. Firm foundation. Men are often told to be a challenge. This is framed as not being too agreeable, creating playful arguments, or making the other person work for your approval. The idea is that humans are drawn to what they cannot easily have, and that a constant state of challenge will keep the relationship exciting. But this can so easily devolve into a form of emotional game-playing. It creates a dynamic of conflict, of one person trying to win over the other. It is a relationship built on the shifting sands of ego and competition. While it might generate sparks, sparks are temporary. They do not provide warmth or light over the long term. A house built on a foundation of constant challenge will always feel unstable. The more enduring and profound path is not to be a challenge, but to be a firm foundation. Think of a great mountain. The mountain does not argue with the wind. It does not challenge the clouds to a contest. It simply is. It is immovable, stable, and utterly dependable. The weather changes around it. Storms come and go, seasons shift, but the mountain remains. Its power does not come from creating conflict, but from its unwavering presence. To be a firm foundation as a man is to cultivate this same quality of inner stability. It is to know your own principles, your own values, so deeply that the small storms of life and relationships do not shake you. This stability is not rigidity. A mountain is not dead. It is teeming with life. In the same way, a man who is a firm foundation is not emotionally closed off or stubborn. He is simply grounded in his own truth. He is able to listen to another's perspective without his own identity being threatened. He can experience intense emotions, his own and his partner's, without being swept away by them. He is the calm center of the storm. This quality is incredibly reassuring. A person feels they can be their most emotional, most vulnerable, most chaotic self with you because they know you will not break. You are their safe harbor. This is not a passive state. It requires immense inner work. It is the discipline of not reacting to every provocation. It is the wisdom to know which battles are worth fighting and which are best met with compassionate silence. It is the strength to hold your ground on matters of principle, not out of ego, but out of a deep integrity. When you embody this, you do not need to create a challenge. Your standards, your discipline, and your unwavering commitment to your own path are the challenge. It is a challenge for the other person to rise to meet your level of integrity and self-possession. This is the kind of challenge that inspires growth, not the kind that creates exhausting drama. Genuine seeing. A common piece of advice is to give compliments. And of course, kind words are a beautiful thing. But this advice is often delivered as a tactic. Compliment her on this specific thing to get this specific reaction. It becomes a transaction. The compliment is a coin you insert into a machine, hoping that affection will come out. This type of compliment, because it is born from a desire to get something, often feels hollow. It can be a generic observation about appearance or a flattened platitude. The receiver may appreciate the gesture, but on a deeper level, they can feel that it is not truly about them. It is about the giver's agenda. The practice that creates a bond of extraordinary depth is not the act of complimenting, but the art of genuine seeing. This is something much deeper. It is the ability to pay such close and careful attention to another person that you see the qualities they may not even see in themselves. It is to notice the way their mind works, to see the courage in a small act they performed, to recognize the passion they have for a subject they rarely speak of, to feel the kindness in a gesture they thought went unnoticed. This kind of seeing goes far beyond the surface. It is not about their hair or their clothes. It is about their soul, their spirit, their unique essence. To cultivate this ability, you must first quiet your own ego. The ego is always concerned with itself. What do they think of me? What should I say next to impress them? When the ego is loud, you cannot truly see another person. You can only see their reflection in the mirror of your own needs. The practice again is mindfulness. It is presence. It is listening with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply. It is observing with curiosity and compassion, not with judgment or expectation. It is about developing an appreciation for the subtle details that make a person who they are. When you see someone in this way and you articulate what you see, it is no longer a compliment. It is a revelation. When you say, "I noticed how you listened to that person everyone else was ignoring," there is a profound compassion in you. It lands with incredible force. It is not flattery, it is truth. You are holding up a mirror to their best self, to a part of them they may have felt was invisible. To be truly seen in this way is one of the deepest human desires. It creates a feeling of being profoundly understood and cherished for who you are, not for the mask you wear. This form of recognition is so rare and so powerful, it can form the bedrock of a connection that lasts a lifetime. Calm center. There is a destructive idea that attraction thrives on emotional volatility. This is the concept of the emotional roller coaster, creating highs and lows, being passionate and then distant, generating excitement and then pulling back. The theory is that this intensity will be mistaken for deep passion and will make a person addicted to the drama. This is perhaps the most damaging of all so-called tricks. It does not create love, it creates a trauma bond. It preys on insecurity and emotional instability. It is like setting a fire in a home and calling its chaotic blaze warmth. It is unsustainable, exhausting, and ultimately leaves nothing but ashes and pain. The true source of unshakable magnetic attraction is not volatility. It is becoming the calm center. It is the embodiment of peace in a world of chaos. Think of the eye of a hurricane. All around is swirling wind and destructive force, but in the very center, there's an area of profound and perfect calm. To be this calm center for another person is to be a sanctuary. It means that when they are experiencing their own inner storms, their fears, their anxieties, their anger, their sadness, they know there is a safe place they can turn to. That place is you. Your presence does not add to their chaos, it soothes it. This does not mean you are emotionless. On the contrary, it requires a great mastery of your own emotions. It is the ability to feel your own anger without being consumed by it, to feel your own sadness without drowning in it, to feel your own joy without becoming ungrounded by it. This is the result of dedicated inner work, of observing your emotional states without judgment, of breathing through them, of understanding that you are the sky, not the clouds that pass through it. You have a deep, abiding connection to the unchanging stillness that lies beneath the surface of all emotional turbulence. When you have cultivated this state, your presence is a powerful healing force. People who are trapped in their own cycles of drama and anxiety will be unconsciously drawn to your peace. You become an anchor for them. They find that in your company, their own mind becomes quieter. Their breathing slows. They feel a sense of hope and stability that they cannot find elsewhere. This is not about creating a roller coaster of highs and lows. It is about providing a consistent, unwavering source of tranquility. This kind of attraction is not an addiction to drama. It is a deep, healthy yearning for peace. It is the most powerful and sustainable form of connection because it is built not on brokenness, but on the promise of wholeness. Mindful journey. A final tactic you might hear is about future pacing. This involves painting a vivid picture of a future together, speaking of trips you will take, things you will do, a life you will build. It is designed to create a sense of shared destiny and to get the other person emotionally invested in a future that does not yet exist. When done as a manipulative strategy, it is the act of selling a beautiful dream. But if the foundation is not there, if the present moment is not sound, then this dream is a fragile bubble. When it pops, the disappointment is immense. It is building a roof before the walls have been erected. The authentic and lasting approach is not to strategically pace the future, but to walk a mindful journey in the present. The future is not a destination you talk about. It is something that unfolds naturally from the quality of attention and care you bring to each step you take together right now. The focus is not on a grand imaginary tomorrow, but on the sacredness of this very moment. How are you relating to this person right now? Are you present? Are you kind? Are you listening? Are you sharing your authentic self? A magnificent future is not built from promises. It is built from a long series of well-lived, beautiful moments. This is the practice of cherishing the journey itself, not just the imagined destination. When you go for a walk together, you are not just thinking about getting to the end. You are noticing the light through the trees, the sound of your footsteps, the quality of the conversation. You are fully present with the experience. This mindfulness imbues every interaction with a sense of significance and beauty. It shows the other person that you are not with them to get to some future goal, marriage, a family, a status, but because you genuinely value the experience of being with them moment by moment. This creates a profound sense of security and trust. The other person feels that your affection is not conditional on a future outcome. They feel loved for who they are, right here, right now. And from this foundation of present moment awareness, a beautiful future naturally begins to emerge. You do not need to force it or sell it. It grows organically, like a strong tree growing from healthy soil. The conversations about the future will come, but they will not be a sales pitch. They will be a natural and exciting extension of the beautiful journey you are already on together. The ultimate attraction is not to a person who promises a great future, but to a person who makes the present moment feel complete. True attraction is not a set of tricks you perform to capture someone's attention. That is the path of the ego, and it leads only to illusion and exhaustion. The real path, the path of the spirit, is to turn all of your focus inward. It is to undertake the sacred work of building your own foundation, of cultivating your own inner peace, of discovering your own purpose. You do not do this to impress anyone. You do this for yourself. You do this because it is the journey of a life well lived. And in doing so, you become like a lighthouse. You do not run around the island trying to save ships. You simply stand, you shine your light, and the ships find their own way to you. I came here looking for tricks, and I'm leaving with a philosophy for life. The part about not being a challenge, but being a firm foundation like a mountain, that just shattered my whole view of what it means to be a strong man. I've been creating storms my whole life, thinking that was passion. Time to work on becoming the mountain. Thank you for this. I feel like I can finally breathe.